Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Kim Duramo, and this is Mind Body TV. Welcome to this week's episode. I'm always so excited to be here. Today, I'm going to talk about our toxic relationships keeping you stuck. A lot of times, people are in turmoil, stress, anxiety, really limiting patterns with their relationships. And it's one of the main sources that can impair our health or hold us back. And it can also be such a conundrum where we don't know how to access more, how to open up to more love in our relationships, and how specifically what I'm going to be talking about in this episode, your relationships are actually the key to your own awakening. So if you feel like you've been stuck not only in your relationships, but stuck in your health or your work or money or moving forward in your life, we're going to look at how your relationships can be a huge source, a guide to reflect deep truths about yourself that you may not have uncovered, you may not have really been ready to see, and how by seeing that you can allow a massive transmutation in every area of your life. So welcome, and to everyone who's here live, I would love to hear from you anything that's coming up related to this that you've experienced in your relationships specifically, and welcome also to those who are listening in the recording or on the podcast. For those of you who don't know me, I am a physician. Was practicing in conventional medicine in the emergency room for years, but also have had this other aspect of who I am and what I know that is highly, highly intuitive, where I'm able to really read people's energy systems, see exactly what's making them sick, and for chronic illnesses, understand what's going on, that, sometimes people for decades, chronic fatigue or, overweight and I can't lose weight, or patterns of severe pain, and really knowing, even when I was in the emergency room, like, whoa, I could give this person some morphine and I know they're going to be back. I can see exactly emotionally what's going on with this person that's keeping that chronic digestive problem or abdominal pain or headaches or whatever in place, that in that format, there really wasn't a lot of space to speak to or to address that. And people weren't necessarily as receptive in that format. Of course, you want to just get out of your pain. But I knew there was a role I could play that would assist people to a much, much greater degree, using the ability of how I see the world and how I function to really assist people in their health. So if that is speaking to you, stay tuned for this episode. I am welcoming everyone who is giving a wave here and commenting, and thank you. I have seriously waited for your live. Yeah, I know I'm a couple of minutes delayed to today. So thanks for everyone who's here live. I'm super excited to have you. The first thing I want to talk about is how our relationships are a mirror. Do you ever notice certain people in your life that really get your goat, and you're like, oh, I just can't stand this person. And it seems like it's them. It seems like if only they wouldn't be so blah, 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 then I would be okay, because I'm certainly so justified in feeling the way I feel. Well, the people who get our goat, and a lot of times it's like a family member or an in-law or someone who can't seem to get away from, like our coworker who's in the next cubicle, and it's like, can't I just escape this person? This is one of life's gifts, actually, that help us begin to clear the blocks we hold within ourselves. So that person that you just can't stand, or the one who always says this one thing and gets your goat, or does this thing or doesn't do this thing, you want to begin to look at what is coming up for me when I'm with this person. What is coming up for me when they do that thing they do? And it might be like over the dining table with your family at that once a year event or something like that. But typically it's someone that is in a regular part of your life. So it's like, oh, this is really getting to me. Okay. Witness that and take a few deep breaths. We've been talking about relationships a lot in the last few episodes, but we're going to really go deep into what this is. Now, the truth is, there are things about ourselves that we haven't accepted, things about ourselves that we're in judgment over, things about ourselves that we kind of just want to cut out, like, oh, if I could just stop being that way, I would just be perfect. Or if I could just start doing this thing, like I thought for a long time for myself, if I could just, do this emergency medicine doctor thing, I could just have a normal life. But no, I function differently, way outside the box, and see things in like 5D, and it wasn't going to go away. So yeah, at some points I kind of thought my life would be so much easier and I'll just make money, have a normal job, go home and call it a day. And I don't know about all this other stuff. Now, that really bothered me, but these are the things that are actually our gifts, the things we can't get rid of, that we think we need to get rid of, that when we begin to embrace, everything comes together in ways that are unimaginable. And my life is infinitely richer because of this. So who is it that gets your goat, and what happens within you when they do? So take a few deep breaths, and I want you to just feel it. Daya is saying, I had a horrible experience and I'm living with a narcissistic mother. After extreme levels of pain, I ran away and I realized that I was being pulled back into the situation. I've chosen to surrender and the pain and blame, and I'm to surrender to the pain, and I blame no one because it's coming into my experience through me. This is a perfect example of, wait a minute, maybe I don't need to extricate that thing from my life. What if I could embrace it? Now, when we embrace it, we can allow it to dissolve or change or whatever. And I guarantee you, when you do this, that person who always gets your goat or always says that thing or never does the thing you want them to do will change. Either they pop out of your life and like they leave and find a new job, or for some things that you're like, I can't imagine this person leaving my life because I live with them, or they experience a different aspect of them when you're with that person. Like, wow, I'm all of a sudden I'm getting the best of this person instead of the worst of them, and the way they were so snippy and now they're really loving and kind. It's when I clear what's within me that I can allow that to happen. So feel for yourself, as just close your eyes if you like, and that's available to you, and just witness, okay, what do I feel in my body? Feel your neck, feel your shoulders, what's happening in your physical body when you come up against that person. So mentally put them in front of you right now, have them do or say that thing, and just breathe into your body and relax. What's happening within me? What's coming up here? If you're holding judgment, like, oh, I hate people that are like blah, 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 that judgment is what is going to create a physical experience in your body. Is there tension in your shoulders? Is there like a space in your stomach that feels like, oh, butterflies in my stomach? Is there something that you're experiencing physically? This is the energy you're holding, the energy that you're ready to release, the energy that by allowing it to move instead of keeping it stuck, you get to be more free. You get to have more love. You get to have more ease and joy. So you actually can begin to invite this person who is the trigger to assist you in becoming aware, okay? It's the unhealed parts of us that create the most chaos. And when we can't see them, we really are powerless. But when someone comes along that can serve as that trigger, even though we don't like how it makes us feel, they can awaken us to these things that we've held, these parts of us that are unclaimed. So I want you to take a few deep breaths, and I want you to feel. And for Daya, just like you said, I've chosen to surrender to the pain and blame no one. So what's coming up, as soon as you stop blaming, you've got to feel everything that you've been trying to push off onto them. So actually feel it in your body and just take 3 breaths, witness that. And let everything go. How do I feel about this person? Oh, I can't stand it when, blah, blah, blah. How do I feel? What comes up? What do I feel in my shoulders? What do I feel in my chest, my head? What do I feel in my belly, my hips, my pelvis? What do you feel in your body? Actually begin to awaken to this instead of staying in the frustration where we suppress what we feel. So just actually feel it. What am I feeling now? And then as you take those 3 deep breaths, allow the breath to come specifically into that area of your body. So it's like saying to the fluttering butterflies or the heaviness in your chest, I'm here. I see you. I breathe into this area. It's okay for this area to have what it needs. It's okay for this area to have breath. It's okay for this area to receive life. So the opposite of suppressing it. And if it's someone, even if like maybe it's an abusive situation and you're like, I just can't get away from this abusive situation. I run away and then another abusive relationship comes in. And you do want to always honor your safety. But if you can bring yourself into this experience, it will give you the strength to either leave and choose something new or allow a resolution right where you are. So take a few deep breaths. Let your belly relax, let your pelvis relax, let your body breathe, and breathe into these areas where you notice what you notice. Because the experience isn't actually out there with them, it's in here within me. What do I experience when they do that thing? Okay, so just complete that and just take a last few breaths, witnessing what comes up. Maybe you're more intense into the experience, which is absolutely perfect. It just means more of this energy is moving through. Or maybe you've already begun to see it dissipate a little bit where you're like, oh, there's more ease around that. Or now I can think of that person and not be so triggered and crazy. If you've used EFT, and I have a great program or a link on my site that'll introduce you to that at drkimd.com/EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. There are amazing things that can assist with, where you just think of that person, think of that trigger, all the ideas and thoughts you have about them, and like write them down. Oh, I can't stand this thing. And you just tap on these specific points on the body. Breathe in, breathe out. And you are no longer holding that energy. So as you're ready, just begin to open your eyes. When you're no longer holding that energy of, I can't stand this, or, oh, I totally hate it when, or the judgment, which is actually affecting you even more than you think it's affecting anyone else, the judgment you have on this person, but they really shouldn't be doing blah, 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 or I can't stand people who are like this. That judgment is toxic in your cells. It's toxic to your digestion. It's toxic to your nervous system, your brain, your immune system, your thyroid. All of these areas will be imbalanced when you hold these energies. So just continue to breathe through what you notice, and I'd like you to share what's coming up. Gail says, are you saying that the qualities we perceive in others are things that we don't like stuck within us? That's exactly what I'm saying. Whatever we're perceiving out there is something we haven't resolved within ourselves. A judgment or a strong belief or an identity, like I'm never going to be that kind of person. I would never do that. And so they shouldn't be doing that. And so wait, can I be more at ease with who I am and how I am so that I can choose to be this or that, or not this and not that? Like, I'm not the kind of person who would ever cheat on my spouse. I can't believe that that person did this. Well, can I be in more ease around this so I can choose to cheat or not cheat out of neutrality instead of out of judgment, instead of out of that rage that I have inside, adamantly against one and adamantly for the other? Could I just be in neutrality with this so that I could just choose to be in alignment with the essence of who I am without needing it to be so fierce, or needing it that other people aren't this way, or needing anyone to be anything? Could I release the judgment? So you just want to ask yourself that, and feeling what comes up in my body when this person I'm in a relationship with triggers me will allow you to release that. Now, I did mention if you're in an abusive relationship, and I've had a lot of people who I've assisted through that to allow a completely different situation when they're afraid of leaving a relationship. Or like I said, they leave a relationship, but a new relationship comes in and it's the same pattern. To release the energy they're holding first, and then allow the situation to change, or allow themselves to easily choose a new situation, an opportunity they didn't see before. It's like, there's no way out. I don't have enough money, or there's no way out. This person's going to kill me. And not realizing that the fear I'm harboring in my body is what's keeping me from perceiving and accessing a way out. So can you let yourself breathe through your fear, so that instead of being run by the fear and you have tunnel vision and it's like, there's no possibilities, you can release that cellularly, not just psychologically, energetically. so that you begin to perceive all of the doors and windows that are open for you to go forward into something new. Okay, so this has to do with the positive aspect as well. Do you have any people that you look up to, that you admire, that you see and think, oh, I want to be like her, I want to be like him, I want to be like that, or oh, I'm jealous, right? I wish I could have that, but how does she get off having that? When there's jealousy, it's kind of the same thing, but it's perceiving the aspiration through the lens of, I can't have it. So you see someone else eating that amazing big ice cream and you're like, I can't have it and I hate them for having it. Or enjoying a free life and having a hot, sexy lover and they're laughing and talking and you're like, how dare she? I can't have it. And so I'm mad that she has it. When there's jealousy, it's the same thing. You're witnessing a positive aspect of your true essence, a reflection of who you truly are, but it's through the lens of, and I can't be that, and I'm not allowed, and it's not there for me, and that's all a lie. So I want you to share with me, if you would, who is it that you look toward? Like I know in business, I used to have so many aspirations, but I had no idea how I could do it, and I didn't really believe it could be that fluid and easy the way that I wanted it to be, or the way I saw it for other people. So I'd be like, oh, how did she write that book? That's my book. I was going to write that book. Or how is this person doing that? I want to do that. And I feel like, oh, like ripping out of my skin because I wanted so badly to express who I was, but I had this lens of it will be too hard, or I can't do it, or I'm not good enough, or like fill in the blank with 100 different things that had it be painful to perceive that. Well, now, since I have cleared that, right? So like same thing, how do you clear this? Feel it, feel the pain of it, and actually physicalize the experience. What do you physically feel? A lot of times we're not aware of emotional energy or mental energy or what we're thinking, any of that. But we can just begin to tune in and use your physical body as a portal. This is the entire basis of my medical practice now, is how can we let the body speak to us? How can we let wisdom come through the body by tuning into our awareness? So if you feel like, oh, what comes up for me when I see them doing the thing I want, or, oh, the body that person has and I hate my body and I have judgment on my body, I want to have what they have. I had a client the other day who told me they witnessed this woman in like a bookstore or something, and she just had this air of confidence and she was so beautiful. And my client was like, I want to have that. And she anchored into it and let it be a source for her, because it is demonstrating an aspect of herself. So feel what comes up for you when there's that jealousy or the I can't have it or the frustration. Just physically feel what comes up in your body. If it's like a pit in your stomach or whatever it might be, take 3 breaths to consciously witness that energy. Allow yourself to experience it in the neutrality of just observing and breathing. And yes, if you like EFT, you could do a little bit of that as well, but breathing in, breathing out. I see you. Oh my gosh, this is so overwhelming, what I'm feeling in my body. Oh my gosh, I wish this just wasn't there, but I am going to move through it instead of suppressing it. I will feel and witness what's coming up in me. Breathing in, breathing out. And like I mentioned, this will allow the release of those energies you're holding. So now you can perceive what's happening. I remember my friend James Maskell had like a bestseller with his most recent book. And now I could perceive what's happening from this joyful neutrality of like, yeah, rock on, James. That's awesome what you did. And me too. I want to do something similar. I want to effortlessly have many people receive what I'm here to share and have it be fun and have it be fluid. So I don't know about a lot of other things he's doing necessarily that, it may not be a fit, but if you have this one thing, you can anchor into that. And so once you release this energy, let it source you. Let it be a yes. And I'd like that too, please. Yes, that's awesome. This woman's out there having rock star sex with her super hot lover. And I would like that in my life too. Yes, please. Can I be in the yes of receiving so that these positive aspects I see of others, maybe a stranger on the street that I notice, the way she holds herself, maybe someone I know very well that I admire, or maybe it's like a movie star icon that I'm like, oh, I want to be that way. Doesn't matter. Can I let myself receive that in the yes and, or will I stay in the energy of the yeah, but, Yeah, but I can't have it. Yeah, but that's only for movie stars. Yeah, but she's this way and I don't have that, or whatever we make up that says why we can't. So let yourself release that energy so you can stay in the yes and, which is where we receive. So look around you at these relationships. Who is getting your goat and where's there stuff that you can clear to let that change? And I'm going to talk in a minute about the 3 ways we can allow change of anything. Or look at the positive aspects of who do I admire? Who do I aspire to be? And know, like, that is an aspect of me. It's my nature. It's my essence. I wouldn't even be attracted to that if it wasn't already a part of who I am. And so looking in the mirror to see the beauty of who I am in this other person, and then let myself begin to receive it. Daya says, it's so true. If you run away, you attract the same kinds of situations. But now I'm able to live with my mother in so much harmony. Though there are still many triggers that come up, we just get better at healing through it. I feel frustration sometimes, and I have had chronic fatigue. My mother's on my case, but I understand it's a phase of fear to allow and accept. I wish the process could be faster, and it can be disheartening. Yeah, so seeing if playing with this in this way can be easier. And I also want to emphasize, because I've had people kind of take this and say, oh, so if it's something I don't like, I just sit there and surrender to it. And well, it's not that. It's not that we never leave a situation. It's just when we run away from it to suppress it, it's different from getting that alignment first, where we have released this from within ourselves so we can actually exit gracefully, not have to run and push away and be in fear, but actually, you know what, there's the door and I'm going to walk through it and choose to leave. Or even knowing the clarity of which choice is really a fit for me right now. So a lot of times we blame. This is another piece where we lose so much power. If I can't be healthy because I had that car accident, or I can't be, I live in constant fatigue or anxiety or pain because of this, way that my mother treated me, or this thing that happened in my past, or whatever. This is how we give our power away. It doesn't mean it was okay, that person should have done this thing to me. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means when I can no longer hold them there, hold the judgment and the wrongness of what happened, that I can't heal. When I can't release that, I can't access more of me. So what if I could allow the resolution? And okay, this thing happened. I'm not saying it was great, but instead of blaming that event or blaming that person, which keeps me in victim, can I allow myself to take my power back? Well, here's where I am right now in this moment. And if I pop into awakening in this moment, what's actually possible? We don't need to give our energy to the past or to other people the way we typically do as like a survival strategy. And then we keep that story alive and we just keep living the same response of it, which is suppression or illness or lack or victim. So if you're experiencing that, I have immense compassion, because it's so hard when we feel powerless to make a change. But if you take your power back from that blame, and take your power back from that person, take your power back from that past. And the Instant Elevation program goes into this very, very beautifully. And I've put together exercises to go deeper with this. For those of you who are interested in that, it's at drkimd.com/IEP, Instant Elevation Program. For those of you that's not a fit, it's okay. Just tune in. We'll at least get some things here in these brief weekly sessions. Glad you're here. So we don't need to give our power away. A lot of times the illness is the indication of, like, Kim, you've got to take more of you back here in order to have what you most want: health, joy, freedom, ease, fluidity, harmony. I need to get more of me back. Where have I given away my power? Where have I left it in the past? Or am I trying to make that person change? So if you're trying to make someone else change, it's a clear indication that you've done this. You've given your power over there. It can be hard to see our way through that at first, but play with that for a bit. The third thing I wanted to talk about, the 3 ways we can change anything that's happening in our life, or change our experience of anything. And I learned this from Eckhart Tolle. There's a book called The Power of Now. It's a really beautiful read. It's one of those books where the experience of what happens to you as you read it is the transmutation, versus I got all this information and then I practiced it and then I did it and it finally worked and then something changed. It's not a book that you learn something. It doesn't actually take place in the mind. It's a book that really opens you to your heart and to your presence and to something bigger. So that can't really be explained in the mind very easily. But every time I've read it, it's opened me to much deeper consciousness and it's allowed things to come in effortlessly. So beautiful type of work. Which, by the way, I am working on my second book right now, and it's being written in that same essence of allowing the transmutation as you read this work. The Instant Elevation program was created exactly the same way. It allows the transmutation as you're viewing a video versus like, okay, so I got to practice this thing, and then weeks later, maybe something will happen. You can open to this now. And what he had shared in that book is that there are really only 3 sane ways we can allow ourselves to come into that alignment with everything that is our harmony, our ease, our joy. The first one is that we change it. Second is that we leave it. And the third one is that we accept it exactly as it is. And the main point here is that there will always, 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 always be one of these 3 choices available to you. So let's say you're in an abusive relationship and you're like, oh my gosh, this is not okay. I need to change this. I got to fight for myself. I have to convince this person I shouldn't be treated like that. I deserve more. And maybe we spend years trying to work on that relationship. I had this relationship for a long time and fought with everything I had to make this relationship work. I thought I needed this relationship to work. And because I thought I wasn't worthy enough or good enough or whatever, I didn't consider leaving. Okay, this was a long time ago. So I worked really, 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 really hard to change the circumstances of this relationship. And that wasn't getting anywhere. And it actually escalated what was happening. And the second thing is that you accept what's happening exactly as it is. And so I tried to do that. Okay, let me just really move into this. Can I just be totally present with this exactly as it is and still be happy and joyful and at ease and have the life that I really want? And what I found is when I explored that, everything blew up. When I committed to my joy, this person actually escalated in their rage and attack. And I was like, whoa, it got more overt. It got way clearer. And it actually became way easier for me to make the choice to leave. And so the third choice is to leave. And that was like the last thing I would have considered, or the last thing I did consider. But the clarity I got was like unthinkable. And it was like, okay, I get it. And I'm 100% willing to choose this, and I'll never look back because of that clarity. And what ended up happening, the ease with which I left that relationship was like, boom, 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 done, moved out, found my own home. Everything changed in my life very, very swiftly. And I had access to everything I needed, lined right up, support, friends, encouragement, money, home, everything. And I continued in that thread of joy that I had committed to. So it allowed the dissolution of that, something that seemed really stuck, to happen really fluidly. Another circumstance that happened, basically I was married to my now husband. We have a beautiful relationship. And he was in a work situation that was like, he was really unhappy, really miserable. And he'd bring it home and be like, and we couldn't kind of be fun and light and have nice dinner because he was in this like really contracted state. And so I tried really hard to change that. Like, hey, let's do this. Maybe do that. Maybe you can talk to your partners, maybe a different thing, and kind of encouraging him to do things differently. And there was nothing that was going to happen there. And, the idea of leaving is like, well, this is not a red flag for me. I am not going to leave my husband over this. It doesn't toxify my life if he's unhappy. I actually can be perfectly happy and go out to dinner with my friend or enjoy what I'm enjoying. If he's working, it's okay. So that was an option. So the third option was accept it exactly as it is. And I thought, no, this is not acceptable. I want things to be different. But that was the only other option. So I moved into that. It's like, all right, you know what, Kim? Can you be at ease and him be unhappy? Well, okay, yeah, I wouldn't be like psyched about that way, that being the circumstance, but yeah, I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to embody my own joy or find other sources of, things that bring me joy so that I can just be fulfilled and fill my cup, and that so that the relationship still works and that I have a happy life and a happy home. And so I chose that. And the crazy thing about it was, as soon as I did that, the whole circumstance changed. It was within weeks. I mean, I'm talking maybe like a week or two. And he said, I have decided I'm going to leave that group, that partnership. I'm leaving, it was a whole he was in it for years in this radiology group, but he wasn't working for him. He wasn't happy, but like there really was nothing I could do that was going to have him awaken fully to make that choice. It was only when I chose to accept it exactly as it was and embody my joy that it allowed the situation to transmute. And it was a very short time. He completely just like clear as day, I'm leaving. And he made that choice, and gave his notice. And all of his colleagues were like, oh my gosh, how can you do this? What are you going to do? And all the fear they had. And he just wasn't in it. He's like, I am not really clear exactly how it's going to go, but I know this is my choice. And he allowed many, many, many things, many opportunities and new things to unfold. And he's doing great, much, much more joyful and more fluidity. And hey, that adds to my life too. But the point is I had to choose it for me first. So that's the third piece I wanted to talk about with how we're playing in our relationships, where we kind of tend to, oh, if my mother would just change, or, oh, if only this relationship were this way. We give our power away. And there's those 3 points of where you do have the power. You can accept it exactly as it is and choose to embody your own joy. That alone creates a new harmonic and allows things to change, whatever is able to, but it's not like required, right? You've already embodied your own joy. You can leave the situation, and no one is in charge of you but you. So if you're in a marriage that is abusive, but you think, I can't leave, it's really a matter of releasing some fear and allowing. So get support, get love, get encouragement, get safety, because that can give you the new perspective where you begin to see, oh gosh, I could go out and do this thing. I could go out and do that. I could make my life work. I can have anything I need. I couldn't see that when I was still in the situation. So to leave, or to make the change. What changes can I make in myself or in my life that can allow things to be different? So I invite you to play in your relationships. Know they are a reflection of you, and that as you resolve these energies within yourself, it allows many new things to come in. I've seen people say, oh, my husband never helps with anything, and I'm working full time. He's working full time. I have to do all the dishes. I have to do everything for the kids. I have to do everything for the home. I feel like I'm doing everything. And when they've come through this work with me, immediately it's like, oh my gosh, he got up and did the dishes. I didn't ask him. I didn't say anything. He just got up and did all the dishes after dinner. He's never done that in the 7 years we've been married, and all of a sudden went and cleaned the whole kitchen. It just happens. There are things that are available to you that by releasing the way of being, which is like a resistance, even ideas like men are bad, or, oh, yeah, you can't rely on a man because they're not going to help you, or you don't even have to speak it. But if you hold the resonance of it, I guarantee you it's going to affect your man. It's going to affect what he's willing to do or what occurs to him to do or say, so that you don't get to have what you most deeply want. So I would love to hear how you play with this over the next few weeks. And I'm going to read some comments here. I've got Cynthia. My daughter-in-law of 19 years has shunned me and rejected me from her and my son's life. It's been so disappointing and brought so much sadness in my life. I've tried everything to break down the barrier with no success. I'm at a loss. So Cynthia, and anyone experiencing something like this, I had actually exactly the same situation with a woman who was in a retreat with me last year, and she had moved this energy after trying everything, and came into a completely different relationship with her son and daughter-in-law. So what I would invite you to, because what comes up here is the energy of powerlessness and despair, and also, there's some grief, and there's a little unworthy. So like whatever you've held around that, I'm unworthy, I'm not good enough, or any story you're telling yourself about that if this person, how she treats you, how does it make you feel? So feel that in your body and just kind of witness, okay, what comes up for me? Do I feel oh my gosh, I'm shocked. How could you treat me like this? Do I feel indignant? Which is kind of the flip side of that unworthy. Two sides of the same coin. What do you feel? What do you notice? What comes up in you? And begin to get really honest with yourself about the energies that have been unclaimed in you. What needs to be neutralized? What needs to be released? Where are there old hurts? Is this bringing something up that's even older, that kind of pings on an older wound of rejection? And so really feel into that and allow yourself to come into harmony instead of pushing that part away. It's like the I love you to that one inside who's hurting, to that one inside who feels rejected, to that one inside who feels indignant or despondent or totally like flabbergasted, powerless. Give the love and your presence of attention, which really is the highest form of love, to that one who's hurting. It's your job to allow the resolution of this within you. We carry these energies unconsciously, and it's like a little, like the little devil on the shoulder, and we're like, oh, everything's fine, I love you, and the devil's like, I hate you, go to hell, and punching that person out. That's what our sort of toxic energy that we've carried, unbeknownst to us, does to those around us. And so you're like, why is everybody so upset with me? I'm trying to be so nice, and not really owning. Just we're not conscious, we're not fully awakened yet of these energies. So if you could let this be a mirror and really witness what comes up in me with this interaction, the sadness or the grief or the rejection or any of that, and be with that over the next week. I love you, I love you, I love you. So then there's no more victim. It's, all right, thank you to the daughter-in-law for showing me this unhealed part of me so that I could be there for me. That is what will allow changes to happen in the relationships. And I'd love to hear how that goes for you. Daya says, but I think the truth is that we all deserve to give that pained part of us time and love. Yes. Kali says, I often feel jealous. Oh, and I am going to be speaking in the next, in 2 weeks on a Facebook Live about Ho'oponopono, which is just a mantra of love that we can give to these unhealed parts of us. It's one of the most powerful things I've ever learned. And of course have incorporated this into so much of my work. It's in the Instant Elevation program in a really powerful way of how to use that and play with that. And we'll be talking about that in a couple weeks. Kali says, I often feel jealous of people who are creating art every day or have published a book. I would love to do these things, but I feel like I just don't have enough ideas, or that my ideas aren't good enough. I'm working on letting go of the not good enough, and I still feel lack. I will definitely try this neutrality observation. Yes, I would love to see how that moves for you. Okay, I'm going to complete. Let me just look over a couple other things. Daya says, sometimes I'm so afraid of doing something wrong and actually slowing down the process. Yeah, just let that fear go. Let all of those pieces go. And Gail asks, are we, in a sense, transmitting other people's energy? No, and I'll tell you why. And this actually gets you out of the powerlessness of, I'm taking on everyone's energy and it's painful and I'm so empathic and I feel everything and now I'm weighed down. What I found, because I used to experience life as an empath as well, and it was so hard to like walk through the grocery store or like be around my mother, it was like, ah. So how can I have compassion for everything I feel and everything I notice? Because what I feel is where it pings me. What I feel is where it triggers the energy that is still in me. So what is my mother bringing up that's unhealed in me? And how can I let that heal so I can release it and I don't even perceive her that way anymore? Or I can walk through the aisles of Walmart and feel and notice compassion for, oh my gosh, the multitude of energies, how amazing, how beautiful, how vibrant, and how intense they can be, and experience them in total fluidity. That is very, very powerful. That's actually the entire premise of the Embracing Health program, where I work with people live. We'll be probably running that again sometime later in the year. But that's exactly why I created this program, is because I know there's so many people that are feeling the like victimization of like, how do I be in this body with all of these energies? And I'm so empathic to actually move more into that empowered space where I can be the transmuter for myself and for all these beings around me by embracing compassion. So thank you. I see another comment from Randy, who says, this is so helpful as I'm still navigating dating. And I've noticed a pattern that is almost completely happening every single time when someone shows interest or starts to get close to someone, they ended or ghost me, or I don't follow through. Yeah, they leave. Okay. When someone shows interest or starts to get close to someone, they ended or ghost me or don't follow through. I don't know if I'm reading that right. And I know it's something in me, but I've been so despondent as I thought I was present with everything. And now I'm not letting myself receive someone. No, it's not that you're not present with everything. This is coming up today. It couldn't have come up yesterday. So yeah, yesterday you were present with everything that came up yesterday. And today there's more stuff that's clearing. There's more stuff that's releasing. It's not that we'll always move through life like this cosmic janitor, constantly clearing out all the old stuff. You will get to a place with a deeper resonance of harmony. But you don't have to make yourself wrong that like, hey, geez, I thought I was already so awakened and I'd already cleared all this stuff. It comes in layers as you embrace more compassion, as you embrace more pure love. So let it clear, invite it to clear, invite what's coming into your awareness, even though it's pain, because it's all the energy that's moving out. Carol Rose says, I totally recommend the Embracing Health program. Very powerful to love through these energies. Thank you for the shout out, Carol. And yes, that will be offered again later in the year, so you can stay tuned for that. Be sure you are subscribed if you would like more. I'm at drkimd.com, and you can just enter your email there. There's a quiz that brings you through to a little bit more of awakening about what's happening in your health and in your body and how you can access more wisdom to guide you through your life. So welcome to everyone who's here listening and to the people listening to the recording. We are creating this as the Mind Body TV podcast on iTunes. So actually it's already been created, I should say. We already have it. It's live. It's published. I'm very excited about that because I love listening to audios and listening to podcasts as well. So I look forward to seeing you in the Mind Body community. If you're in Facebook, that's where we play and kind of go deeper into this conversation. And you may subscribe at my YouTube channel as well if you're interested in receiving more. Sending you so much love for your relationship with yourself and how that can allow more harmonic relationship with others. Lots of love. Bye.